What's going on? It's Justeeni here. Lake's Bullet is back again. When there's Lake's Bullet, I have to be there. I have to show up. Yeah. If you guys don't know what Lake's Bullet is, it's Bullet on Lakes. If you guys don't know what Bullet is, basically tiny map, tribe, mirror match, and the hosting player, in this case myself, skips turn 0. Makes for some really wild, wacky, fast-paced action. So you're gonna see my whole tournament run. It's going to be split into two parts because I did pretty decent, but I'm not going to spoil the final result. But yeah, let's get right into things. So first off, of course, I skipped turn 0. And you see here already, very unusual, I'm not grabbing the fungi. The reason why is because if I do grab the fungi, the explorer is going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 moves going to the lighthouse and back. In fact, it's actually going to go like this. So 1, 2, and then it's going to be a 50-50 for one of these directions. If it goes here, awful. And if it goes here, I don't know, maybe. Still doesn't look promising. I want this explorer to go to the middle. And if I get the fungi now, it guarantees with certainty that it will not go to the middle. So I don't pick up the fungi right now. Instead, I pick it up a turn later. I still get the same amount of economy doing it like this. All that it's doing is delaying the explorer. So this is completely worth it. I meet the opponent, I get that perfect central vision that I need here, and I happen to grab a lighthouse. So everything is sunshine and rainbows. And then I can even get my level 3 capital. I put the warrior here. I don't want it on the city because I want to train another warrior. Maybe this is a mistake. I'm not actually 100% sure, because I could save for a hexapod instead. But this is what I go with. I wanted to keep a lot of units on the map in case this city were to be contested, but they didn't train another unit because they had a level 2 capital. These are shaman to capture that city instead because they want to go over here to this city, but now I've got writing. Unfortunately, the opponent's just under a ton of pressure here, so the conversion at this point is just some good old tactical play. I'm going to prepare a capital siege. The opponent's going to try and defend it, sends the warrior back though, which is not actually the correct play, because you'll see a nice siege and block. If I don't block, then this warrior would be able to go. Note how, why did I use a highlighter? Note how this is a force tile and warriors don't have creep, so it can't go this way. This is not an option, so they are unable to unsiege. They lose the game on the spot. And that's how fast these bullet games can go. 7 turns, unbreakable siege. Just like that. And it's over. Round 1, victory. On to the next match. Alright, I did forget to mention last time, these are, this tournament's a double elimination format, so yeah, in case I lose a game, I can try to just win every game from that point. Basically, you get 2 lives. This time I'm not hosting, and it's Chinchi, and I have the corner lighthouse spawn, which means the opponent knows exactly where I am, and I don't know where they are. So let's get right into things. Except I see the village, so I know where they aren't. They cannot be over here, or more specifically, they can't be on this tile, because you see the village would be too close. This isn't allowed. Or, was it this tile? I think it was this tile. Yeah. I'm always like not 100% sure. But yeah, I go for lighthouse opening to upgrade 2 turns sooner. I think it's worth it here, especially knowing I have the secure village. And I have another village that I'm likely securing as well. I know where they are at this point. They can only be here because this village is too close for them to be over, like, in this area. Yeah, I think it's right here that they would be. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I know how to play bullet, guys. So I go for an explorer on the city, grab some vision, and some potential lighthouses. There's like a big river in the middle, which is super interesting. This is what I like about Lake's Bullet, is the terrain that you have to work with. Always forces you to do very interesting things. And you'll see this game gets pretty interesting. So I go for the ruin. They're upgrading with smithery. I go for fishing pre-cap. The reason why is because I want to grab this lighthouse. Fishing is really good at enabling that, because now the explorer is basically I counted out the moves while I was playing. It's basically guaranteed. Like, 99% chance. The only way it misses is if it skips over some mountains and then I cry, but even then I still get useful info. So yeah, I'm guaranteed I've got. Know how I skipped the ruin? Because I want to get this village and I've got a turn sooner. It's worth delaying the ruin open. So now I grab that, get a smithery ruin, which is pretty nice because that would have costed 13 stars otherwise, and I needed smithery anyway, so it's like a resource ruin, but a little bit better. And I'm able to get a quick giant on the capital, place down a park, get another forge. And I had just enough time to math everything out. These are live games, so you don't have much time to think, but this, I believe, is the optimal monument placement. You'll see why in just a bit. They get their giant, another giant. I get a vet sword here, which is perfect because it's going to help stop them from getting this village. Maybe I can even steal it for myself. Now I go forestry pre-cap. Why forestry? Well, you'll see. They try to be a little aggressive, get a bit of a foothold there, and another giant in the water, trying to pressure me as much as possible. But I don't really care because I have catapults. This is the idea. Because in these Chinchi matchups, the name of the game is giants and swords. What's good against giants and swords? Catapults. Spam catapult, win game. If the opponent doesn't do anything about this, they lose. And what does the opponent do? Well, again, they try to pressure here, but I kind of just have the defense on lock. They're able to take care of my vet sword, so they will ensure that they get the city. They get a rider, likely preparing for chivalry. And yeah, I can delay them from the village, but I cannot stop them entirely. But these catapults are completely unstoppable. They cannot do anything about these catapults unless they get knights. But another factor at play here is the opponent has been dealing with a ton of time pressure. If you look at their point of view in the replay, I'm pretty sure they already have a ton of extra stars on hand because they keep timing out. And I'm putting the pressure on. Look at these catapults and how much area they exert. All of these catapults, you can just see, covering a wide area with huge damage. And yeah, it's just gonna melt their giants. Not only that, but they're getting sieged and they can't even unsiege this. Again, they still have a ton of extra stars because they keep timing out. This is a very complicated position for them. They just don't have the time to defend. I'm getting another giant, and since they're already fishing, I can get in the water, get another catapult, and they resign. So 2-0 so far, working through the winner's bracket, and I'll go ahead and cut to the next match. Alright, so this time, Kiku. Kiku is a very interesting tribe. This is another tribe that loves going for capital explorers, mainly because they already have one of the essentials, probably the best tech when you get in explorers on tiny lakes, fishing. They just have it on turn 0. So things can get pretty nasty. I'm hosting, so I skip turn 0, and I go immediate lighthouse opening because I want to launch that explorer ASAP, instead of going forward and launching the explorer later, which I think is a valid opening as well. But this is how I decide to play things. And just look at how much of the map I reveal. And I meet the opponent. And I grab the lighthouse. Exactly enough moves, by the way. Perfect explorer movement. And this is because I have fishing. If I didn't have fishing, this mountain would have blocked. And if I had climbing, there's a chance that the explorer would have taken a detour. That's why fishing is so good. Is explorers perfectly beeline for the lighthouses, you're almost guaranteed double lighthouse. And that allows me to get level 3 capital in turn 1. But this is with skipping turn 0, by the way. Turn 1 rider, level 3 capital. And yeah, unfortunately I cannot stop the opponent from expanding here. But I mean, again, this is really solid for me. They get the level 3 as well, but they have to use Org to do it. They're going to get multiple level 3s. I go Org Roads. The idea is I don't want to grab Hunting to upgrade. Instead, I'd rather pick Org. I don't remember exactly why I preferred Org here, because Hunting is also completely fine. Maybe I was gambling for the farms. I'm not too sure, but I went for Org. That's what I did. Now, turn 6, I already have Eye of God. And I make a mistake here. I accidentally upgrade this city, which is a pretty fat misplay. I can just get a giant on my capital. Like, I just have a giant. Instead, you see, I am short of a giant because I was too busy upgrading. So, silly me, they get their giant first, which shouldn't have happened. But I can still get my giant at a reasonable time, and with roads, it's going to get in the action plenty fine. Double workshop because, again, I only needed one explorer this whole game, and I already got it on my capital. So now I get to enjoy a lot of economy, whereas the opponent had to get 2 explorers because they decided to not funnel. At least I'm pretty sure they didn't funnel. Why else would they get 2 explorers? They didn't even have Eye of God with 2 explorers, so I'm going to assume that they did not funnel. I get Resource Rune, which is amazing here. Going for farming. Eyeing up construction. I can get quite a few giants from construction, but the main thing is farming is an immediate giant just smack dab in the middle Park of Fortune. Now I am up a giant. Plenty of riders. I have roads. So there's going to be a bit of a stare down, but when it comes to locking down this village, I've got a very nice advantage. I'm going in already. And they're going to struggle to kick me off. They would have to get roads. They decide not to, so I get the village. I get no tax pre-cap, which I believe was a slight mistake, but nothing too serious. Again, it's a bullet game. I'd rather not take a risk and lose out on like 1 star. But yeah, you see I don't upgrade this because I'm prepared to get a wall later, because this is my most forward city. So this is the easiest target. If I get a wall, it's no longer an easy target. Also, what the heck? They have cloaks. So this is concerning because if I get cloaked, my entire advantage is gone. Luckily, I have riders, so by land, they can't cloak me. By land, they can't cloak me. I go hunting, setting up for archery, and getting the wall. Archery is going to be useful to chip away at their giants because their giants are protecting these cloaks. Cloak disappears. I assume it went in the water. It's not going to reach my capital yet, but I have to be ready for it. So I go archery, and I use these forests to my advantage. Just making a nice wall, and these archers are going to help break through. The opponent decides to sacrifice all of their units, donating me Gate of Power. It does make sense to do this, though. You kind of have to make a move here. If you just sit there, you will lose a game. And yeah, I'm advancing my units to make sure there's no cloak shenanigans. There's a cloak that's visible. I assume it's on this tile or this tile, and then I can't reach it. Now I sacrifice some units right back, but this is a calculated sacrifice. I know I'm like saying that. I mean, this was probably a calculated sacrifice by the opponent as well. I just don't exactly know why, other than to pressure, which I guess makes sense. But this is why I sacrifice. This giant no longer kills. If I didn't sacrifice the units, this giant would die, and it'd be pretty sad. It would just not deal any retaliation. But since they have no support for the giant, they can't weaken my giant anymore, so they just back it up. They get another giant on capital, which is very clutch because this bridge would have enabled me to just siege them. But now I siege this city with the giant. Not the rider, actually. It looked like I was going to siege with the rider, but I decided not to, which the reason why is because this is unbreakable. Now I get a giant on my capital, and again, you can see even this rider here, it looks useless. I'm just playing around any and all avenues for cloaks to attack me, which, yeah, that's the only way the opponent can even hope to win, because they spent everything on Diplo. Or maybe they got it from Ruin. They did have a few ruins, so maybe that's what happened. But yeah, I'm able to comfortably deal with everything. I was like very paranoid about the cloaks during the game. But yeah, so far 3-0, cleaning up the winner's bracket. But I'm going to save the rest of this for part 2. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.